start, disrupt healthcare, start a chiropractic lifestyle revolution. You can read the title. So, how did this start? There's always a backstory. Well, I remember a long time ago, first few months, 2 months into getting my license, being desperate as a broke student. And I went to DE. I'm sitting in a crowd of 2,000 people, and I don't know who was talking, but I heard the principal. No, 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 hang on. I didn't hear the words of the principal. Are you with me? I heard the principal in my spirit. There is a big difference. And that day, I heard it in my spirit because I had heard it in my ears before, but I heard it in my spirit. And I remember I'm sitting there right in the middle of a crowd. And I went, oh my God, this is a message for humanity. I could remember like it was yesterday. And then I went, okay, I know what I'm doing. And here's what you're going to learn because we're going to show you what are characteristics of people that disrupt industries and what are their principles that they abide by that inspires them to disrupt industries. And right there I was on this call today, and it says the highest human inspiration, one is purpose, but two, a calling. Like when you feel a calling, you become unstoppable. Are you going to get knocked down about 25 million times? Absolutely. But a calling is why you keep getting up. It's why you're frustrated. It's why you swear. It's why a calling is why you don't want to get out of bed in the morning, but then you army crawl to the bathroom and maybe to your arthro stim so you can set your atlas and get your brain right again. It's like, oh man, a calling is why you never give up. A calling makes you unstoppable. And so when we're looking at this, I remember that day and I never saw myself, I never had the purpose of building a practice. And that's why I built 5 practices that were all 500, 700 a week, was because I never saw it as building a practice. I mean, from the time I came home from DE, man, we were teaching vaccination workshops. It was like we had, I'm going to talk about this. We had an enemy, and it was pediatricians. It wasn't just medical doctors. The biggest enemy was pediatricians. And you will not bring your kids there if you are a patient here, and I'm going to show you, and it was like, I'll talk to you for an hour. Now, was I also a customer service guy? Absolutely. I didn't know, man. I mean, I had a message, but because I had that purpose of changing healthcare around the world, not building a practice, I was able to get 350 a week as an independent contractor. And but if you would have said that was about 85 a day. If you would have said, Fred, how's your pre-consultation? I would have said, what's pre-consultation? I mean, I was nothing but energy, man. I had a lot of energy and a lot of purpose. I had no systems, which is why at 350 I exploded. So, and then I hired a coach, CJ Mertz, had some structure, but it was purpose, and changing healthcare was always the fuel. And now, why disrupt healthcare? Well, we're going to get into that here in a second. So let's get moving. Hey, the world is changing fast, man. Are you going to become a healthcare leader, creating leaders? Now, this isn't any big surprise to you guys. So what do we say? We don't create patients, we create leaders. Now, I'm going to show you when you guys know the story, Wednesday, 5:30, right? I'm sitting there, 40 PVA, and how many people were with me 6 months ago? 20, probably 25 people in there. And I looked around and 70% were all within 6 months. And that's when I threw the model out the window. It's the same model we've been using. Actually, the model that started chiropractic was better than the model we ended up in. And that's when I started changing beliefs, man. Started studying human behavior. And then when I formed Elite, I mean, I didn't form Elite because I want to coach chiropractors. No, man, I hated coaches. That was the last thing I wanted to do. But now I had a system where every week I had chiropractors just about every week, probably 2 to 3 weeks out of a month, I had chiropractors in my new patient workshop. So then people started, what are you doing? They started coming around. And that's kind of your cue to coach. Like that's your goal. When you get chiropractors coming to your workshop, now you're leading on a different level, unsolicited. So, and then the, proverbial story I've told you. One day I looked at my schedule, I had 232 people on there. I knew I was 90 days away. We had just added 110 people a day in 5 months with no marketing, and Tim's going to do that 110 people a day before we get to the June boot camp. Way to go, brother! We'll give him a pre-close applaud. But first of all, I had like 8 new patients and a bunch of re-exam, and I'm like, yeah, this is going to be I'm going to be kind of busy today. And then I knew I was 90 days away from 300 a day. I knew I could add 70 more people a day in 3 months because it was so smooth, so predictable, so easy. And I'm going to show you why it was like that. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to hit 1,000 a week, which was my goal for 12 years. And then I thought, I got 10,000 people driving by my office. The only reason I want to see 1,000 a week is so I can go to it. Well, one, make impact, obviously, but then I could go to a seminar and I could feel significant. And I'm like, you know what? How stupid. And that's where I prayed over my schedule and said, God, there's got to be something bigger. Because why? Because 1,000 a week wasn't enough. I still had the goal, changing humanity. And so here we are. That happened in 1998 because I'm old. I graduated in 77. Graduated December 19th, I'm sorry, 87, and had to go to work January 2nd, 88 because I didn't have any money. So anyway, what I'm going to show you tonight will definitely shift your mindset to another level. And it's going to help you see what you think you might already know from a higher consciousness and perspective. By the way, I listen to audiobooks and all kinds of stuff when I work out. So I figure I got 45 minutes a day that I can grow and evolve. And so last week I was listening to Billionaire Mindset. The number one priority, core value of billionaires is to continue to grow yourself. That's their number one core value is self growth. So based on that, let's go through this. Hey, look who we got now as a Secretary of Health and Human Services, man. Has anybody noticed you got on social media? Like I'll see 12 reels in a row are all exposing stuff. Man, the floodgates are opening. The doors from heaven to earth are opening. The truth is coming out. And hey, he's one of, he might be Captain America. Trump picked him and Trump's doing all kinds of stuff. But hey, if Trump is Superman or you just pick a hero, Spider-Man, whatever you want to call him, this guy is probably Captain America. And one of the things when he was talking to the Senate, I think, or anyway, this woman said, "Oh my God, he's in charge of the CDC, the NIH, the FDA." And she's going on and on. It's like, that is way too much power for one person. And then she said, if he's elected, pharmaceutical companies will go broke, will go bankrupt, and no child will get to be vaccinated. Oh, so you get it. Like someone said, oh, so you're finally catching on. Yeah, that's the whole thing, right? So I mean, the world is changing by the second. And something as easy as, oh my God, fluoride hurts my brain, but I thought it was good for my teeth and my bones. I mean, shit, I grew up in the 60s where, did they want to give you fluoride tablets? Yeah. And, they wanted to put mercury on your cuts, mercurochrome. I don't know. Tim, you probably remember that, man. You put that red shit on put that red stuff on your cuts so it wouldn't get infected. It's like, so anyway, Things are changing by the minute, man, and now is our time. And obviously, everyone on here knows he is a very strong chiropractic advocate. So I definitely sent him a nice letter and the general public version of Back to Health, which is the best kept secret to heal your back pain. So I pray that that book has wings. It gets to him, somebody very close to him, or he reads it and says, "Okay, there you go. We need to talk to this person and get this out." So it is time. I mean, shit, I started chiropractic in '88, probably longer than you guys, but the people on here, we've been touting the principle from our megaphone sitting on our orange crate for decades for this moment. And the doors of heaven are finally opening. So, what defines an industry disruptor? Well, let's look at this. Individuals, entrepreneurs who introduce innovative products or services that significantly change the way, excuse me, an existing market operates. Often creating new technology, like look at Russell Brunson, change online marketing, right? Or business models, that's what we're going to go through today, that challenge established players. Now, this is why I started studying human behavior. Why? Well, let's manage by statistics. Well, that makes sense because you have to inspect and measure what you expect. Obviously, you're gonna chart your KPIs. And did I chart my numbers? Absolutely. And I charted that 40 to 50 PVA for 11 years. Yep, still there. Oh, we're a 48 this week. Oh, we're a 42. Wow, we didn't get many new patients, but we kept our volume. Maybe we're a 60, but then we're down to a 38 when we had 12 new patients. Charted it all, but didn't grow my PVA. What it wasn't was 100 PVA until I changed the model. And that's like, I'm done with patient education, man. Now I'm going to show you through this week why that is already obsolete. But I will tell you, I looked it up last night, and AI takes a lot of studies, converges them, right? And then gets the basic outcome. 11% of the American public go to chiropractors. 11. In 2015, Gallup did a study. It was 17. We've actually lost, and this was 2022. We've lost 6%. Do you think what we're doing needs to change? Do we need a disruption? Maybe not in medicine or healthcare. I think we need a disruption in chiropractic. So if we're going down, would that make sense that if we keep doing the same thing, but we expect a different result? What's that called? I should have put that picture up of the woman pulling all her hair out. So the reason I'm giving this is I would like to invite you to a new level. I would like to invite you to a new mindset and invite you to a calling that our time is greatest right now than it's ever been in history. What else? Their innovations can significantly impact the market share of existing companies, forcing them to adapt or potentially fall behind. Here's the problem. Chiropractic is the one that's falling behind. How has chiropractic adapted? Well, let's try and get states where chiropractors can prescribe drugs. Let's go to, I understand functional medicine. Awesome. Then you get people, why do they adapt? Well, I can't get people on lifestyle, so let's add a bunch of other services so we can increase our income. Now, is that bad? No. No, because there's a lot of great technology, man, that helps injuries, and we definitely need to do it. But if you're doing it to add income, because you're not impacting generations in the chiropractic lifestyle, it's not what you're doing, it's why you are doing it. And it's not good or bad, but what's your purpose? What's your calling? Because your heart knows your calling. And the last thing that I want to do is I try and live my life like if I died tonight, as my spirit's looking at my body, going, geez, I knew I should have had another glass of tequila before I did this. No, I'm just kidding. Then I want to know that I'm good, man. I made an impact. I'm good. If this is where I'm supposed to go, God, maybe I'm going to make a bigger impact from the spirit world than I can the physical world. But I don't want to have any thought, certainly less than that. So there we go. Okay, so after 20 years, so when I formed Elite, then I studied individuals that disrupted industries because I want to know how they think. So who do I pick? You guys know Tony Robbins. My God, how many Tony Robbins quotes do I have in the boot camps? And then Steve Jobs. I went to Business Mastery. First, I went to UPW. That's our day one, day two. And then I went to Business Mastery and I took principles from there. And I saw a speaker, an Asian guy, I forget his name, but he was Steve Jobs' right hand man that showed us how he built the Apple culture. Boy, was I paying attention and taking notes, man. You built at that time the most profitable culture in the history of the world. Talk about pattern interruptions in the world. Man, I took those notes big time and they're incorporating Elon Musk. Hey, what can I do? Just, changing the whole petroleum industry. That's all. Gas and oil, just, changing that. Jeff Bezos. I mean, these guys started with nothing. Like Steve Jobs started in his garage. Tony Robbins, became passionate about feeding people because he didn't have Thanksgiving dinner one year. Elon Musk, I think his mom was entrepreneurial. Jeff Bezos selling books online out of his garage. So we're going to go over these. Reed Hastings started Netflix. Travis Kalanick started Uber completely. I mean, Reed obviously, disrupted theaters. Uber totally disrupted public transportation. Like, who gets a cab these days, right? This guy you probably don't know. This dude is amazing. Keith Krach. It's Krach if you look him up. He was an engineer, started in his dad's welding business. His dad said, you have to go be an engineer. So he became a mechanical engineer, developed a software that changed all mechanical engineering, developed a few multi-billion-dollar companies, and then went into a business-to-business e-commerce business called Ariba, Ariba, 3.7 trillion with a T dollars a year. Now, all these guys have very similar principles. And then we're going to show you the business model that was created out of industry disruptors like these. So let's look at what is their mindset? What are the principles and strategies that you use? And then I'm going to show you how they apply to Elite. Tony Robbins, this business mastery, people don't buy products or services, they buy identity. What do they buy? Who they're becoming. So sorry, let me get my thoughts. What's day one, day two? Who they're becoming subluxated. What's 20 and 30-year health and life goals? Now they live the rest of their life. Who are they becoming unsubluxated? We talk about the plane ride and the beach. The identity isn't the fact that they're laying on the beach. The identity is who are they on their honeymoon laying on the beach? How do they feel about themselves? Who did they become in their own mind on the beach? That's what it's about. So that's why in the consultation, what do? We make identity statements. Like, what would be a statement? Hey, ever since you got in that car accident 6 years ago, my God, you developed 8 health problems. You've gotten sicker when you traumatize your spine and spinal cord. You shut the energies down. You've developed more disease in 6 years than you did the first 42 years. That's an identity statement. What do we do in the re-exam? Hey, 60 days. Look at this. The average improvement in your health conditions, not health problems, health conditions is 60%. You've healed more in 60 days than you did in 48 years. That's an identity statement. So when you understand this, because people, what do I say? And I don't know how to do it. It's because you don't understand this principle. And I know there's people that are on here. Well, I understand this. No, you've heard it. You've heard it. Trust me, I know who really gets this, takes it into their heart. And what are you doing? I get it. You're developing a skill. You're learning a system. But when you see it as a system, you don't get it. It's got to be in your heart. So that's why I'm showing you where we apply this. Associate your product or service with their deepest desire. Now, look at this. Are they buying products or services? No. That's when they negotiate. What are they buying? Who they're becoming? What's their deepest desire? So, how do we apply this? 20 to 30 year health and life goals. Why? We look at their values and their purpose. One reason people don't commit is it contradicts their values. That's the person that says, well, I can't make those appointments because I coach my kids' basketball team. That's a purpose and a value. So what do? We look at 20, 30 health and life goals. We're going to go through this later in the week. And we show you how to pull out their deepest desire. Then their health is the way they get it. So there's the application. Create lifelong raving fans. Now you look at practices that have been active for a long time. Well, we've been here 25 years. Great. And you got one person that in 20 years they haven't brought their family. They don't get much referrals. Why don't they bring their family? Because they don't freaking get it. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. What are the 9 to 10 belief systems? And the goal is to change beliefs. So we'll get into that. Raving fans are people with purpose. That's how you create a movement. That's how you disrupt industries. Raving fans. So we have that worked in. People don't buy products or services. Look at this. Here's what they don't buy. And this is why when you lay out a program to fix their spine, correct their asthma, you're selling a product or service. But they don't buy that. Strategic pause. And this is what we were conditioned to do. And I did it for the first 11 years. So, hey man, I get it. It's trying to recondition yourself. What do they buy? Beliefs. Somebody in the chat show me, oh, look, we got a chat here. It's the definition of insanity. Thanks, Mark. They buy beliefs. That's why you're going to see in our business model. What's our strategy? Change beliefs. Associate Elon Musk, your business. Check this out with the physics of the universe. Well, what did he do? Disrupt petroleum. Why? He builds cars that run on electromagnetic energy, man, electric energy. The whole universe is electromagnetic, right? With quantum physics. He's dealing with quantum physics. What's that? It's the principle of chiropractic is life, force, energy. We are light. We are life force beings. We are light, actually. And here's what we go through in Honor God Within Yourself. So we look at Jose and Tim and, you guys have been there, Patrick, this is Honor God Within Yourself. We are energetic beings, man. That is quantum physics flowing through us. That's the principle of chiropractic. We are already aligned. Spend money, here you go, to make the product better rather than advertise. Look at that. Tesla does not advertise. Now, here's where the profession blew it. What do? Well, we need more patients. Why? Because you don't have 100 PVA or 200 PVA or whatever it is. So what do you got to do? There's a natural attrition. So what do? Facebook, social media. Now, do I think you should do it? Absolutely. But if you're doing it because you need to get new patients and you're not getting family members, and not just immediate family, but the whole family tree, then you didn't invest in yourself to make your product better. And the product isn't just clinical certainty, it's your messaging, it's your communication, it's changing beliefs. Up here, make yourself better, raise your skill. And then you don't need to advertise, you're doing it because you want to get the message out around the world. Okay, let's do some more. Steve Jobs, simplify everything. Now people go, man, elite is so difficult. You know it's difficult. Cameron Weishar, I know you'll listen to this recording, is one of the coaches. He said, and I said, what was your first year like? And he said, you know what the hard part is? It's pulling the weeds out of the garden. Now, and what he said was, it's not the weeds that are not the committed patients. It's the weeds in your mind. I'm like, I started laughing. Like, oh my God, man, pulling out all the conditioning of everything you've done. And that's why, like when we go through Tony Robbins, 5 steps to eliminate, I call it all objections, all time and money objections. What do you do when you get to that point where you say, I'm done? I'm not doing this one more time, and you change your mind, then you'll realize how simple elite really is. We're in a couple of days, we're going to go through the 4 mindsets. I mean, what's it break down to, man? Life is energy. Life is energy. Healing's energy. Health is energy. You have health conditions, but all you have is an energy problem. Does it get any simpler than that? You have an energy problem that's causing 18 different health conditions. Like, there you go. You got it now. I mean, that's as easy as Ms. Jones. How's your back pain affecting your life? I can't pick up my kids. Wow, that sucks. How do you feel? Well, I don't feel like a good mom. Then and that's what the profession is doing. And that's great because what's that going to do? It's going to help you go from, geez, I'm only closing 3 out of 10 to now I can close 8 out of 10. But that's not lifestyle. So, anyway, there's so many principles in Elite that are so simple, but you got to pull the weeds out of your mind. Create insanely great customer, what's that word? Somebody write experience, man. How many times do we talk about create an experience, don't give information? Why? Because experiences wire in their mind and create memories. Thank you so much. Love the participation. Thank you. Mark, again, look at this. Can Mark get some help? Way to go, brother. I appreciate you. So we don't call it patient education. We call it patient experience. Well, how do you know that this is the way to do it? Well, think about it right now. Put yourself in 5th grade and think of a memory in 5th grade. Oh my God, I was living in Pennsylvania. I can think of the girl I liked. I can even remember her name, Wendy Force. She had bigger boobs than all the other girls, right? Like, all the other girls were flat and Wendy had boobs. How do and she was really cute and an athlete. So how do I remember Wendy Force? 5th grade. I was, how old? 10. I'm going to be 64 in that was 54 years ago, and I can see her face like it was yesterday. That's the difference. That's why they don't forget. That's why they change the way they live. Look at this. Become a storyteller. How many times do we tell you? People remember 22 times more information from a story. It's their subluxation story, consultation. Day 1, day 2, the story of their pain. Day 3 and beyond, the story of their transformation. How do we handle objections, metaphors? There are stories that create an analogy. I mean, what do you hear me all the time? Become a great storyteller. That was Steve's one of his gifts, because you ever hear Bill Gates talk about Steve, he'll say, man, he developed stuff there's no way it should work, and he would get on stage and tell stories and everybody would buy it. So he's like, I don't know how he did it. Bill's like, I couldn't do it, but he did it. So leaders start with the customer and work backwards. Jeff Bezos. How many times do we say call the end outcome? They already understand lifestyle and work backwards on day 1 So you create the experience, Steve Jobs, where by the end of day one, they're going to say, I agree. I can see how this is a healthcare lifestyle for me and my family. What do? We create the outcome and then we work backwards and then we create the customer that meets the outcome. Take ownership. Don't sacrifice long-term value for short-term results. What's that mean? What model have we been taught in chiropractic? Well, give them what they want and then tell them what they need. What's that mean? You're going for short-term results. Talk about their pain. The problem is when you study human behavior, that's what wires into them. And then you sacrifice long-term results. That's why we don't say, Miss Jones, how's your back pain affecting your life? Why? Because now they have an emotion associated with a condition, which is how people's brains work. And once the emotion's gone, the condition's gone, the emotion's gone, they're gone. And it's a great way to start a patient. Is it a great way to change generations? That's not how humans work. Hey, it's not wrong. It's a tremendous, oops, it's a tremendous starting point. But ultimately, if you want to be a pro, you want to disrupt healthcare, then there's another whole level of strategy, and that's what I'm getting to today. Leaders have relentlessly high standards. That's it. I mean, what's our standards, man? When you come into Elite, 100% on day one, we'll know it's chiropractic lifestyle, right? And that's it. They have high standards. Why? Because they want to disrupt the whole industry. So we're going to get into that. So what are a few more? Customer obsession. Start with what's best for the customer. Travis Kalanick. Well, is lifestyle best for the customer? What's best for the customer? What they didn't know, what their other doctors didn't tell them. That's what's best for the customer. So you do what's best, not what's comfortable. That's why we always say we are not in the customer service business, because I was for a while, and guess what happened? The insane ran the asylum. That means your patients are running your practice and you're running around trying to please everybody, and you will never get there. And the team, you sacrifice the team. And this is where people, I hear this, they lose good team members. You invest in them, you bring in the boot camps, you do coaching, and then you lose them. Why? Because you were good at showing them the purpose, but maybe that you were a customer service person. And now the team feels powerless because the doctor put the customers first rather than the team first. And we're going to get into that. What's best for the customer? Empower them. Tell them, don't bring your kids to a pediatrician, the most dangerous place you can bring your family. Find the gap between popular perception and reality. Travis Kalanick again. What's popular? If that is an industry disruption, what's popular perception? Well, 85, I think it was 85 or 83, I think 85.7% of the 11% that go to chiropractors, 85.7 still think it's about neck and back pain. Geez, is that popular perception? What's reality? Spinal cord's your lifeline. It's not one, it's why you're alive. Two, it's determining your health. You're either in the state of health or state of disease. So that's why people think, well, give them what they want. And then Joe Borio and I go over this on Chiro Mafia, because you're going to see these strategies we talk about on Chiro Mafia, because we have very high standards. Joe's awesome, 400 PVA, 700 a day at his peak. What else is popular perception? That you have to be customer service. Wrong. So anyway, we give that up and we go for what's effective. Be an owner, not a renter. Revolutions are won by true believers. Man, do you believe in the principle? Do you believe that you're a chiropractor in this time in history? Now, what's a true believer? That you're going to set goals and visions. When you set a goal to disrupt healthcare, then you're like, Oh my God, man. It's just me. What can I do? Ask Moses what one person can do when he believes in God. And that's why I got with God, all things are possible. I was filling out this survey for this group that, they help in build online businesses, whatever. And they say, what do you see that you think is impossible? And my answer was, with God, all things are possible. Look at Moses. Look at these guys, individuals that built great teams, that disrupted industries because you believe that's your calling and you won't give up until you do it. Now, it doesn't mean you have to work hard all the time. Do you have to bust your ass? Absolutely, because you have a calling. But you can also have plenty of time for your family and still meet your core values and other purposes. Dream team. Here's the key: hire and keep only great people. Read Hastings. That was good versus good. What was that? Tim probably knows. Good versus great. Jim Collins. What was that? Talks about good leaders versus great leaders. Build great teams. Get the wrong people off the bus. Now, just on a personal note that you'll find out, Amber's life kind of went in a different direction, so I had to hire somebody new. And you hear everybody, well, I can't find good people, blah, blah, blah. So I wrote this ad that was a completely purpose driven, change the world ad. And within 2 days, I had 4 people that had amazing resumes. Now, the person I hired, Tiffany, she worked for an attorney. She got hired. This woman is definitely unstoppable. And I'm paying her. She ran a 35-person team, 35-person staff, was a primary executive assistant for the guy that owned the law firm. And when COVID hit, he demanded all his team members got the COVID vaccination. And Tiffany stood up and said, I'm not getting it. But she was so valuable, he said, you're the only one that doesn't have to get it. Stood up. I like now, is she ready for chiropractic or what? So anyway, on her interview, she said, I'm paying her, by the way, 1/4 of what she got paid. One, because it's a part-time job. Two, she increased hours. I'm going to increase her salary. But I hire entrepreneurs. I always have. One of the things a question I used to ask when I hire people, would you rather have a guaranteed salary or would you rather get paid less on a salary but make more because of your contribution to the growth and you have a more aggressive bonus system? If they said guaranteed salary, I wouldn't hire them because those are people that get complacent. So I never paid great salaries, but I was generous with more bonuses. So I told her, you're going to make more. She got paid $9,000 a month. She's getting paid 1/4 that, but I have a more aggressive bonus. So I told her, why are you doing this? Like, you're getting paid a fraction. And I didn't ask her about her personal finance. So you're getting paid a fraction of what you used to get paid. Why are you doing this? Here was her unsolicited answer, which is one of the reasons I hired her. She said, the first question I ask when I go to an interview is, what's your mission statement? Does it get any better? She goes, I never asked you that question. You told me your vision right out of the gate. Here's the key. And I believe you. Visionaries articulate the vision in a way that captivates and engages their team because it's bigger than they are. And she said, I'm looking for a job that I want to contribute to humanity. Unsolicited words. You are hired. Let me ask you another question, just so I can know that this is a God thing. You have to inspire a purpose that's bigger than everyone. People over process, inspire and empower over manage. And that's the thing doctors do. They manage their team. Nope, you inspire, empower them, give them responsibility. Now, this is also people over process is managing patients. That's pre-shift huddle. Well, let's look at our schedule and let's manage all the timing. That's why you don't grow. That's not how we do our pre-shift huddles. People over process. This is why I'm going through this. People look at systems and they do all the systems like they're systems, but they don't get the experience you're supposed to create for the person. The systems just guide the flow. You create the experience for the person. How cool is this? We keep going. We're almost done. Oh, we got another chat. Two more chats. Check this out. Here we go, Mark. I appreciate you too, Fred. Yeah, thanks. Good to great. There you go. Mark, man, somebody gave a drum roll for Mark. Hey, you must. Now, here's Keith Kroc, $3.7 trillion. That was trillion, by the way, in case you heard that. You got to have a vision and a purpose, man. If you don't have purpose, you don't have a guiding light. What's another thing he says? You have to have a North Star. What's North Star? Hey, before there was all the cement and sidewalks, people were going through the frontier. What did they do? They found the North Star because that's how they guided. They used astrology for their direction. What's that mean? Purpose keeps you focused. What else? Team must know core values. I mean, is this getting any better? Core values are like blinders on a racehorse. They keep you focused. You must always raise your standards. Look at those words. Why? Because when you raise your standards, you innovate as society changes. You continually, that's Elon Musk. Always invest in improving your product or service. That's CBP. It's always evolving. That's elite. My God, the Atlanta boot camp in June, day one boot camp is going to be different than the December boot camp in Salt Lake City we just came from. Because I'm always evolving and raising the standard and showing you how to do that. What does Tony say? Three words to improve your life. And he goes, now I know you're not going to believe me. I know this sounds too easy, but here it is. Raise your standards. Tim, you've probably heard that a boatload of times, right? Here's the thing. You must have an enemy. Wow, that was a big one. Must have an enemy. Who's the enemy? Now, you don't have to have an enemy spiritually, but who are you keeping people away from? One, pediatricians. My God, antibiotics and vaccination, please. That RFK Jr. made a statement on how medicine is killing kids. That was all over social media. What's the enemy? Who are we going to keep people away from? We keep them away from the government. We create independent thinkers. We give people purpose. They're going to affect generations. And we're going to solve a world minimally our country's problem, Western medicine. Then you must have an effective strategy. Now, these are the principles that he's built multiple billion-dollar businesses and $1 trillion business. And now I just heard it, Keith. I listened to his interview last week on a billionaire mindset video. And I'm like, oh my God, does this get any closer to elite, right? So here's where we go. Now let's look at our business model. Now I know you guys have seen this, but let's look at it with a refreshed mind. Principle, Elon Musk. Base your company on the physics of the universe. That is the principle of chiropractic. Steve Jobs. Let's communicate it simply. Life and health are energy, right? That's in the pre-consultation. All the organs are totally dependent. One, to keep you alive, right? Two, to keep you healthy. Now, the amount of energy is going to determine if you're in the state of health or a state of disease. That's very simple. What's another one? The foundation of all health conditions is an energy problem. That's true. Why? How does the body heal? More energy. That's why they say chiropractic works. Hey, long before I figured out how to fix the spine, I had people come in and just from adjusting them, cancer tumors fall off, blind eyes, deaf ears. Why? Because I knew I move the bone, God does the healing. And that's all I knew. Very simple. I move the bone, God will heal them. And you're going to get healed before we change the curves. Now, as we change the curves, is that a big thing? Absolutely, man, because the real definition is curve and cord, not bone and nerve. Bone and nerve can exist, but if you haven't read the Back to Health book, go to Elite Coaching LLC, get your free digital copy. I would read that. So here we are, Elon Musk, we got a principle. Now we have a purpose. Geez, that's everybody, man. North Star, Keith Kroc. I mean, that's Tony Robbins. Remember the slide from the boot camp. Now I'm taking all this from boot camps, and this is all everything we're teaching this week. One, we teach in a boot camp, but two, it's all in the secrets to the 7-figure lifestyle practice, online training broken down into videos. So if you're an elite client, you have it. If you're not, man, that online system, it will teach you how to get 7 figures just on your monthly payments. So purpose. Tony Robbins, you guys probably remember this. Number one reason people fail. They don't have a compelling reason. That's purpose. That's calling. The most important thing you can give to your team is purpose. Why will they stay with you rather than go down the street where they can make $2 more an hour? Now, I had a guy, Will, you're probably listening to this on recording. You know, we had a conversation today. He had a person quit, and I've heard this a lot. Like a team member will quit, they'll go down the street for a different job. They even went and worked for other chiropractors. And then they come back to the doctor that they quit, and then they say, I don't have purpose at the other place. Now, some people have come back, and other people, they stay for more money, but they're not satisfied because that's who we are spiritually. And what I told this gentleman today, I said the reason is you didn't catalyze that person with the purpose. Now, they got the purpose, but then they focused on systems. They didn't focus on the purpose of creating a person that will be a leader that will make sure every generation after them lives a chiropractic lifestyle, does not take their kids to a pediatrician, does not go to medicine unless it's an absolute crisis. There you go. So the purpose expresses the principle. Then what? We need core values. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, all those guys. Why? Because core values create boundaries on your focus. Now, I was thinking as I was reviewing this today, I should have put little pictures because 65% of the people are visual. I would have put a horse's face with blinders on. Why do they put blinders? So they don't look at the horse next to them, so they don't look at the crowd. Why do they do it? Run as fast as you can in a straight line. That's what core values do. You have to know the core values. So, quick examples of core values in Elite. Chiropractic is healthcare lifestyle. That's probably the most important. What are the other ones? We build lifelong relationships. See, that determines what you say. So when someone gets sick or they're stressed because we build a lifelong relationship, what am I going to say? Look, man, hey, just come in extra. You don't have to do traction. Hey, if you're feeling run down, you're under a lot of stress, just jumpstart your nervous system, man. Let's put some energy in your body. Keep you healing. Come a few days in a row. It's an extra visit. You already prepaid. Don't worry about it. Why? We're going to be together a long time. I'm not worried about a couple adjustments. You are re-signing for your second phase of correction. You're bringing your kids in. You're going to bring your grandkids in. You're going to make monthly payments for the rest of your life because this is your life. Why would I worry about a few extra adjustments? What's more important is that you understand the lifestyle. You're run down, come in and get adjusted. You're under stress, come in and get adjusted. You just want to experience more joy, come in and get adjusted. It's like that's always the answer. What are other core values? We're going to break generational patterns. That's the purpose. What else is the purpose? Purpose got to be bigger than you are. Let's back up a little bit. We're going to disrupt healthcare. We are changing healthcare. I mean, geez, man, I'm 64 and RFK Jr.'s in there. Imagine he goes at the pace and him and Trump, they got 4 more years. Are you kidding me? Do you know what the world is going to be like? People are going to be looking for a leader and you're going to break generational patterns. Now, the core value. What's core value? We get generations. You have to bring your kids, right? Yeah, I need a relationship with those kids because I'm going to teach them something that they will remember when they're 5 years old and now they're 25 and 30 and their wife's pregnant or they're pregnant. And what are they going to do? I remember when Dr. Fred said, that's why you can remember something in fifth grade because there's an experience. Standards. Standards help you meet the core values. Here's where the profession has blown it. Why? Because they set the standard. We want chiropractic lifestyle. But then Miss Jones, we're going to fix your back pain. Oh, by the way, let me, now let me teach you after we get rid of our pain. Yeah. Well, hey, what percent go into lifestyle? Our standard is 90% move into lifestyle. So now what you're doing is you're setting the bar above your skill level and you set the standard so high that you have to become a professional. You're not playing high school football. You want to play in the NFL. You have to train. You have to become better. You have to become more effective. You have to become more convicted. And then what happens? Then you change healthcare. Now through your life, my God, man, what's more fulfilling than that? But to meet those standards, now we need strategy. By the way, standard, Keith Kroc, Tony Robbins, all these guys, Travis, Steve Jobs, Elon, all these guys. That's why he says we don't advertise, we better our products. Another word for standards. Now, strategy, Elon, people don't buy products or services, they buy beliefs. That's why our strategy isn't patient education. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow on tomorrow's session. So be there live. What else is our strategy? Patient experience, right? So they don't forget. I don't want to keep saying the same dumbass thing 42 times. So we're going to handle all of this through the week. I'm going to show you exactly what we do. Now, you guys will be familiar with it, but when you see how it fits and you take it into your heart, it's going to completely change your mindset and you're going to get it. Systems. Systems are more broad. It's like the boards in the glass in a hockey rink, right? The goal is not to keep the puck in the boards in the glass. Let's look at Wayne Gretzky. What's one of his famous quotes of mindset? I go to where the puck is going. What does he do? He looks for the opportunities in the open spots. When you're changing beliefs and the strategy, how many times do I tell you, Pace just gave you a silver platter. Influence is about listening, not about talking. If you listen, they will tell you how to create the outcome. Every time they will tell you. Systems guide the topic, pre-consult, consult, exam, day 2 ROF, workshop, whatever you got. Then what? Promotion. Now, here's the thing. What do most people do in chiropractic? They go principle, purpose, I'm all fired up, straight to promotion. They don't really outline that. They set the bar at 7 feet, but then they jump 5 feet and act like they won the gold medal. They have a strategy of patient education, which tomorrow I'm going to show you why that's already obsolete. They do have systems, but then they need promotion. Why? Because they didn't do this. Now, when you do this, here's what you realize. This is your promotion. I can't count 2 people that come off the top of my head. Chris and Lauren DiCarlo, they were with other coaching groups. 4, when they joined Elite, 4 PR people. Chris say, I hated Mondays. Why? Because they would have to go in and convince. So what were they doing? Miss Jones, how's your back pain affecting your life? 4 PR people. They hired me first week. I said, fire all your PR people. They're like, you're crazy. But for some reason, they trusted me. They did it. They've never had a marketing PR team since. Ben Gillis, same thing. Chris and Lauren started, they were maybe 250 a week, 225, 250, busted up to 400. Ben Gillis started at 350, 4 PR people, tons of promoting, busted up over 500, no PR people. Again, 4-person PR team making phone calls, fired him in the first week, added 200 people a week to his practice, and he went up to an 80 plus. I think they're about a 90 PVA. This is your promotion. You don't have to work hard, but you do have to develop this skill and plug in this business model. Then what do? Hey, make a bunch of cash, and then you reinvest. Now, here's the thing, gang. Once you look at this and you take it as knowledge, but I was on a coaching call the other day, and let's look at standard. Standard means I have the core value. You got to bring your family because the purpose is to break generational patterns because spinal cord is your lifeline, right? That is your life. You are an energetic being. Energy has to get the matter. So standards, you have to have an action. Well, I'm not going to talk about your kids and have a friendly conversation and let you go. It's like, no, do you want to call your wife right now? Let's walk up to the front desk and make an appointment. These are your standards. Well, I don't want to push people. Well, if they understand what you're talking about, that's not pushing them. That's holding a core value and a standard that your kid has a spinal cord. And if you're a father or mother, you want to do anything possible so they don't, one, end up like you, because now there's a generational pattern that they are repeating. Generational patterns are 100%. And you would do anything so they didn't have to suffer like you did. And the worst thing for a parent that they could possibly experience is a diagnosis with their kid. And then we don't want to push them. It's not pushing. It's changing your mindset. It's taking responsibility and having them take responsibility and changing their beliefs by speaking to their values right on the spot. So we're going to go through this, and I'm going to show you how we're going to apply all the principles. Hey, there I am. Now what I want to do is go to the 7-figure lifestyle. I want to show you guys something. Here is Elite. Hey, who's that dude? Hey, check this out. If you look at my shirt now, geez, it was a lot darker back then, man. I'm all faded. So here we have day 1 and 2 videos. You guys know where all these tools are, right? Weekly intention sheet. Hey, here's your KPIs that create a lifestyle culture. Team manual. A lot of people don't look through this. So we have all these tools when you join the full program. Here's what I want to talk about. Because there are people coming into Elite that are just doing the online program. Now, here are all look at this, business model, implementation manual. There's people that say, Elite doesn't have systems. Really? I don't really understand that. Well, I don't know what order to go. Geez, here's the order right here. It's not amazing. I tell you exact. Oh, 1. There we go. Here we go. 2. Yeah, here's the order. And guess what's so fascinating? The order of the man. Oh, God, what happened? Got kicked out. I hit that thing too many times. The order is also the order of this. This is the order in which you study them. Now, when you get this, these are all the foundational principles that you can go to any level that you want. Now, look at this. There's not that much. These are all the foundational pillars that you can build a practice to any level. These are the things that I did that I knew I could get to 1,000 a week. Look at this, 7 weekly systems to get family referrals. I hardly ever hear anybody mentioning this. Well, I watched your 7 systems to get family referrals. People are like, Well, I got to do videos. How do I get new page? I don't know. Why don't you watch this? So anyway, I mean, I'm just playing with you. Um, However, this is available for people that aren't clients. If you want to know more about this, I'll show you. Just instant message me. I'll put my phone number on here. Now, here's what else I want to show you. You guys, you haven't seen this yet. This is the Elite flow chart. There's day one, day two. Now, what's the flow chart? Well, first of all, I go through difference between education and beliefs. Here are 10 beliefs in chiropractic. 8 of these we have to shatter. These last two change healthcare industry towards chiropractic. So I go through how the brain works. Let me get, I go through the 4 mindsets. I go through how to determine on the patient intake form what beliefs they have so you know how to handle it. Get the pre-consult script. Now here, going from the patient application into the pre-consult, and here you ask them a question. You're the chiropractor about subluxation. No, here's what you say. Yes, here's what you say. So you're creating the experience for that patient. So what are you not doing? Just spitting out a script. You're tailoring the script, the system, and you have a strategy and an experience for that person, right? Then you continue the pre-consult. You hit another question. Did your MD tell you about this? No, he didn't. Here's what you say. Yes, he did. Here's what you say. You go into the 4-step consultation. You go into the exam. You ask a question. Did they tell you this? No, they didn't. Yes, they did. So now you're at the end of day one. Then you get into day two. Now you got to deal with the belief system of the spouse. Have you been to a chiropractor? No. Here's what you say. Yes, here's what you say. How cool is this thing? So I go all the way through day two, through the 20 and 30-year health and life goals, how to make them unstoppable. This is a free gift that if you want this, let me know and I'll send it to you. Also, here's my number. If you want any information, you want to go through this, you have any questions, schedule a breakthrough call. Or just give me a call or email me at these numbers. Just use the 425 number. Text me on my cell. Send me an email. And let's just talk about where you are. If you want to honestly make the biggest impact that you can in the shortest amount of time, you can already see how aligned this system is. What I'm asking you to do is to go to other chiropractors. Now, guess what? This is maybe 1%. Most people, I just want to build a practice. I just want to build life for my family. I don't care. Hey, they don't want to raise their standards up to this. There's lots of groups. Maybe they can use the online system, but I wouldn't take them as a coaching client. But you want to change healthcare and you actually believe we can do it like Moses. God will help us. He is in this with us. I guarantee you, he is in this with us. So there you go. So got this, got a chat. What are we talking about? Hey, thanks. Can't see your screen. Yeah, that's because, oh, that sucks. Well, I'll show you the other stuff on your coaching call. We'll be on there tomorrow. Love you guys. Please share this. I know a lot of people are waiting for the recording, especially on the East Coast. You East Coast people, appreciate you being here. We will send out the recording on email tomorrow. We'll send out the recordings. Love you too, brother. So please forward these recordings because we want to, hey, thanks, Mark. Love you too, brother. We want to create a movement. I truly believe, hey, crazy people think they can change the world. And if all those other guys we showed you were crazy and we do what they do, then crazy is a compliment. Okay, Mark, sounds great. All right, you guys. Love you guys. Peace. And be on here every night this week, man. It's going to get more and more exciting. If there's any questions, unmute yourself. Otherwise, we're good. I'm ending the recording.